The cake case is back. The Colorado baker who took his fight over religious freedom all the way to the Supreme Court is now suing the state.
Denver 7's Lance Hernandez slicing into both sides of the story tonight. And Lance, this time that conflict is about a cake that celebrated a transgender individual.
You know, it's no coincidence that on the day the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to hear the same-sex wedding cake lawsuit against Masterpiece Cakeshop, a local attorney called the bakery and asked Mr. Phillips to make her a birthday cake, blue on the outside, pink on the inside, to celebrate her gender transition. Well, Mr. Phillips, who has been doing interviews all day long, declined to make that cake. And then, of course, earlier this year, the Supreme Court ruled 7-2 in his favor on the wedding cake issue.
The United States Supreme Court told the commission that they were being hostile to my faith and that they can't do that. And yet this case shows hostility again towards my faith.
Autumn Scardina could have called any bakery. She called Masterpiece on the day the court announced it would hear the same-sex wedding cake case and asked Mr. Phillips to make a pink and blue cake to celebrate the anniversary of her gender transition. Phillips said he wouldn't create such a cake because God made male and female and that we don't get a choice to change that. Scardina then filed a complaint with the Civil Rights Division, which ruled that Masterpiece Cakeshop denied her equal enjoyment of a place of public accommodation. Phillips' attorney says the state is ignoring the previous Supreme Court ruling.
The Supreme Court found this hostility towards Jack's faith for two reasons. One, because the commission made hostile statements to him about his beliefs, and because the state was treating Jack unequally. They were allowing other cake artists to decline messages that they didn't want to create, but they were punishing Jack when he did the very same thing.
Many felt the issue was just a matter of religious freedom. But what the Supreme Court didn't do was issue an ironclad ruling on places of public accommodation, which is what Scardina and others want settled.
I think that if you read the Supreme Court ruling, they weren't very clear about his rights.
Governor John Hickenlooper says the justices felt there was a stacked deck against Mr. Phillips because of the tone of comments made by some members of the Civil Rights Division. He said the court needs to settle the accommodation issue.
Again, very difficult issue, whether someone who makes a product, a cake, is that a product or is that an expression of their religious values?
Now, Phillips says this is about the message, not the person. He says anyone can come in and purchase any baked goods in his shop. There are just certain messages that he won't create. Autumn Scardina did not reply to our request for an interview or comment. Neither the Attorney General nor the Civil Rights Division are speaking today as well. Reporting live in Lakewood, Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
The plot thickens. Thank you, Lance.